In example 9, part D, we have a square root function. Now, something that you need to remember about square roots is that you cannot take the square root of a negative number. Well, if you look at f of x equals the square root of x plus 5, there's an x underneath that square root. That x is a variable, which means that it variates. I could plug anything in for that x. I could plug 100 and take the square root of 105. I could plug in a million. Okay. The point is that that x variates because it's a variable. But we just discussed how we cannot take the square root of a negative. So because that x variates, that means I could plug something in there that would make the square root be negative. So what I have to do, negative numbers, if you think about it, they are less than 0. Positive numbers are greater than 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set what is inside of the radical greater than or equal to 0. So now I just subtract 5 from both sides, and I have that x is greater than or equal to negative 5. And so that we can do our notation, I'm going to draw a quick graph. And we have negative 5 right here. And I have that x is greater than or equal to negative 5. So in set builder notation, it would be x such that x is greater than or equal to negative 5. And in interval notation, I want to read that number line from left to right. And our graph starts at negative 5 and goes to infinity. Now let's just make sense of this really quickly. If I plugged in, see it says x is greater than or equal to negative 5. If I plugged in negative 5 for x, it would be negative 5 plus 5, and that would be the square root of 0. And the square root of 0 is just 0. I can do that. But if I plug in anything less than negative 5, like negative 6, negative 6 plus 5 would be the square root of negative 1, and we can't do that. So that's why it makes sense that anything greater than negative 5 works for x.